Well, welcome back to another Proverbs wisdom moment together. We've really enjoyed getting to go through the book of Proverbs with you through this last month. And today is June 30th, so we're in Proverbs chapter 30. Now, we are going to have one more wisdom moment tomorrow for chapter 31 that Josh is going to lead us in. So look for that still. We still have one more chapter left in the book. But Proverbs 30 today. And I am really excited about this one. This is one of the passages of Proverbs I've been looking forward to this whole month. This has one of my favorite Proverbs in it, and I'll read it for you now. Proverbs chapter 30, verses 7 through 9. Two things I ask of you, O Lord. Do not refuse me before I die. Keep falsehood and lies far from me. Give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me only my daily bread. Otherwise, I may have too much and disown you and say, who is the Lord? Or I may become poor and steal, and so dishonor the name of my God. And this is one of those proverbs that every time I read it, I just think, wow, there's a wisdom there that we don't commonly see in the world. Because usually we're always asking for the riches, right? That's the thing that we always think that we want to have. And in this proverb, it's so curious. The author is saying, God, please don't give me riches. How many times have we prayed that prayer, right? God, don't give me riches. But listen to the reasoning behind it. Otherwise, if he has riches, I may have too much and disown you and say, who is the Lord? We might become self-reliant. We might think that we can do it all ourselves. Sometimes wealth can have this bad effect where it can make us a little bit ignorant, where we overthink our own abilities and we start to depend only on ourselves and how we can meet our own needs. And there's also a danger in the opposite end of the spectrum of becoming too poor. And the author talks about that because if I become too poor, I may steal and so dishonor the name of the Lord. And so at both of these extremes, there's a temptation. Doesn't necessarily mean that either end of the extreme is evil or anything like that, but there's a temptation that the author sees at either end of these extremes. And at the extreme end of being poor, the author sees the temptation to take matters into our own hands and begin to steal, to become not reliant on God. And at the opposite extreme, the author sees the temptation to look at our own abilities and become not reliant on God and look to ourselves. And so there's this point in the middle that the author's asking for. God, meet my daily needs. Give me my daily bread. And so I would just encourage you, as you reflect on this passage and the wisdom in it, think to today. What are the things that I need today? Just for today. How can I pray that God would meet my needs that I have today? And as you reflect on that, one of the things that might be coming to mind as you're even thinking through these questions is, man, that sounds really familiar to the way that Jesus teaches us to pray. His example, the Lord's Prayer in Matthew chapter 6. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. And that's that same wisdom that's being contained in this passage, that the author's asking for their daily bread. And that means we come to God day by day and ask for that, daily. And the other aspect of that as well in that same prayer is to lead me not into temptations. We can see that there is a temptation when we start to go beyond our daily bread and that daily connection with God. So I would encourage you, going back to that kind of application I was drawing on just a minute ago, think through today. Spend a moment right after this. Don't go directly on to the next thing. Just take a moment and reflect. What are the needs I have for today? And how can I pray that God would meet those daily needs? And how can I draw a little bit closer to Him and a little less away from trying to meet those needs at both ends of the spectrum, meet them by my own means, through me. How can I depend more on Him today? All right, take this wisdom with you, and I hope you enjoyed this little Proverbs moment as we see it connects and that wisdom carries on even in the New Testament with the way we're even taught to pray. All right, have a great day.